Now, thanks to Direct Line Landlord Insurance, today we're talking about the importance of having landlord insurance and the different types of cover available. I'm joined by Nick Breton, Head of Direct Line for Business, to talk about this. Hi, Nick.
Good evening, Clive.
Thank you very much for coming in. So how important is it to have the right landlord insurance cover, would you say?
For landlords, it's really important that they have specialist landlord insurance. Ordinary household cover doesn't usually cover the risks to which landlords are exposed because, of course, the big difference is landlords have tenants and they are, in effect, paying customers with high expectations. And there are quite a few risks and costs which come with that. And they include, for instance, perhaps making claims against the landlord if they have an accident, if they maybe trip over some loose carpet or fall downstairs, suffer injury or damage or accident, and it's deemed to be the landlord's fault, then they may try and sue for that. So specialist landlord insurance will cover things like public liability insurance. Also, landlord insurance will cover the costs of alternative accommodation if the tenant can't stay in the property due to uninsured events such as a flood or storm or other damage. And of course, as an option, the loss of rent which the landlord may suffer can also be covered under specialist landlord insurance. And of course, good old buildings and contents insurance as well.
Yeah, what about buildings insurance? What does that provide cover for?
Well, on the inside, it will cover things like the structure and the fixtures and fittings of the property and provide for any cost arising from damage resulting from things like fire or flood or storm. So, for instance, a wall may be damaged through flood, or a roof may be damaged through storm. Escape of water is also a big one, which can cause quite a lot of damage, and buildings cover will cover that. On the outside, buildings insurance cover will look after damage or cost arising from damage to gates, walls, fences, patios, terraces, and anything which really forms part of the property. It may also cover boiler cover as well. It does with Direct Line and provides for the repair or replacement of a boiler if it breaks down. Of course, the public liability insurance, which we mentioned already, to kind of make good any claims arising from tenants suffering accident or damage or damage or illness. But of course, not every landlord will need buildings insurance cover.
No? Why? You don't necessarily have to have it then? Under what circumstances?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, if the landlord, for instance, has a leasehold flat, then they may already have buildings insurance arranged through the freeholder. So it's always important that the landlord checks the lease carefully to ensure that they have the right cover in place and basically doesn't end up paying for more cover than they need to.
And what's your advice on contents cover?
Well, contents cover will cover things like furnishings and floor coverings, also contents and any inventory which is provided by the landlord, such as beds, carpets, sofas, TVs, any other electrical equipment and white goods. Also the cost of replacement locks for doors and windows following theft of keys. Also the alternative accommodation costs, which we mentioned if the property becomes uninhabitable due to an uninsured event such as a flood or a fire or storm damage. And also provide for the costs arising from damage to somebody else's property. So, for instance, a burst water pipe causes damage to a neighbour's property. Contents cover will cover that, including any legal costs arising from that.
Right. Does it cover the tenant's contents as well?
No, if the contents aren't provided by the landlord, then the tenant needs to cover that under a standard contents policy. As with any insurance, if the landlord's not 100% sure whether or not they're covered for this, that or the other, then they just need to get in touch with their insurer, pick up the phone or even web chat, and just check out what the situation is and what cover they need. OK, Nick, thank you very much indeed for coming in. You're welcome.
Nick Breton, Head of Direct Line for Business. And thanks to Direct Line Landlord Insurance. For more information and for the chance to win a tech bundle, go to lbc.co.uk. Also this week we've got new videos offering advice on contents cover for property and landlords buildings cover. Have a look at the blogs and the videos. Just go to lbc.co.uk.